Welcome to the tutorial for Operation C on Game Boy. And this is a unique Contra game that was only on the Game Boy. It's actually quite good. It's a little bit easier than the NES Contra games. But yeah, I'll try to break down a little bit of what I was doing. This took me around 3 hours and 15 minutes to beat, including about 2 hours of practice with save and load states to try to practice troublesome parts. And I got it on my third full attempt. I had a few partial attempts where I reset because I didn't like how I was doing on the first stage. But yeah, it wasn't too hard compared to Contra Shattered Soldier, which I just posted up a playthrough of. That took about 9 hours. So yeah, I like to start off with the spread gun. And you can just hold the button down because the game has rapid fire by default, so you don't need a rapid fire controller or anything like that. So, yeah, the spread shot is good. And a lot of it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. The positioning and things like that are going to be things that you can use every time. So, you don't really have to modify that. Here you can just continually shoot up and those guys pretty much just go into it and die. Partway through the level, I think around here I like grabbing the homing shot. And I like using that for most of the, I guess the first two levels. I think I use it for the first two levels. The homing shot is great for a lot of scenarios because it goes right to the enemies and kills them. So, not only does it alert you to where enemies are appearing by watching where the bullets go, but you know, it also kills enemies pretty quickly. It's not the most powerful, but it's powerful enough. Sometimes I'll stand on the other side of a power-up and let it fade out of view because you have such a narrow jump that it seems almost impossible to jump over the power-up. So I'll just let it fade out. Just be aware of these guns and be aware that the jumps are very narrow in this game, so you have to be right at the edge of the platform when you jump. But there are some platforms where you got to be careful not to go too far the edge because the landing detection and the hit detection is a little bit weird sometimes in this game. It's not as forgiving as the NES games in that regard, but it's still an easier game. So here, just avoid the bullets, and your homing shots will pretty much take care of everything. You know, kill the enemies when you need to, but the homing shots will pretty much go to wherever there's any openings. You have to destroy all the hatches and the main turret gun, and the turrets. Pretty much have to destroy everything that attacks. But it's very easy with this gun. I mean, regardless, it's an easy boss, but this makes the fight a lot faster. There are some tricky parts that I can be... good thing is, though, there's no timer in this game, so you'll see how I take some parts slow just to be careful, and that helps a lot to get through some parts without dying. You earn extra lives pretty frequently, so if you do well, you can, pretty easily get to the last level without using your first continue once you have the game down pretty well. It wasn't too hard for me to do once I learned the game pretty decently. I did fuck up on the last level, but, once you have a full continue on the last level and you know how to play it, it's not too bad. This is your first overhead level. And there's a lot of exploits I found on this level with positioning, which I'll explain, but, it'll be self-explanatory. But I figured the commentary might make things a little bit entertaining, because I already have a version with just the regular game sound effects. And, I wouldn't consider this an easy game. It's pretty challenging. It's not super hard or anything, but it did take me like 3 hours and 15 minutes. So it wasn't an easy game by any means. I guess you could call it a moderate game, like the NES ones. I don't consider the NES games to be anything extreme or anything. They didn't take me too long to beat. So yeah, if you just stay on the side of that tank, right below where the bullet's coming out, in that corner, the body of the tank doesn't seem to hurt you. So just shoot those guns out that way with the homing missiles, or the homing shot, or if you have another gun you could use it. You don't need that homing shot. For this I get the fire shot because I pull a little bullshit by, you'll see I'll let this thing come in, this train, and then I get behind this little train thing. And I fucked it up here, but you'll get the general idea. Just don't stand there when that bomb comes down. See what I fucked up? Now, had I not fucked that up, I could have used the fire shot that I had to do splash damage on the back of the train and kill the turrets. That's what I usually do. But I fucked it up. So I won't be demonstrating that. You could see that. You could see me do that in my failed attempts. My 2 failed attempts that I posted up. I'm sure you'll see it in those. But I wasn't able to demonstrate it in this run. But it's another way to exploit this this level. For here, just take your time. You know, shoot off some diagonal shots and kill these things. And just take your time. Get the homing shot that appears here. It always appears here, so just get that. Now you can move a little bit faster because it'll kill them off a lot quicker. So you just have to proceed the screen carefully, and you'll pretty much be okay for this level. It's especially not going to be challenging with the homing shot and with the positions that I show here, because now you're fighting another identical enemy, and you know what to do by this point. Just stay in the corner. You just don't want to be up too high where the bullet comes out, obviously. So you want to get in that groove. You do have to position yourself somewhat carefully, but it's easy. For here, there's the 2 big turrets, so just let your bullets just go and take those out before you try to run across. Now you just got to destroy a wall, and then you'll have the boss. The boss is very easy with the homing shot. It can be a little tricky initially when the fight starts because you don't want to get hit by the bullet spray while you're trying to get into position. So, you got to be a little mindful of that, I guess. But once you get up at the top of the train, there's a few safe spots, basically. So I'll explain those. So yeah, first thing you want to get, you want to make sure it's clear and get up to the top. And once you get up to the top, the homing bullets will pretty much take care of it. And if you have the fire shot, the splash damage will take care of this shit too. It's just that the homing shot makes it so you don't even have to go across to the other side. The homing shot will reach that turret all the way on the far right. With the fire shot, I think you have to go around, which is still easy to do, but you can get killed. So yeah, that's it. If you stay up on the left or right side in the middle of that moving tank, the gun will never, the middle gun will never be able to hit you because it doesn't go all the way to the left or all the way to the right. So keep that in mind. That is a safe spot on both sides. So keep that in mind. And also, if you do need to cross the middle gun that shoots out that large wave, make sure you're all the way at the bottom of the screen before you move to the right or left. And wait for one of them to fire and then cross. If you don't do that, you won't have enough room, most likely. So just be careful of that. For this, just continue walking right. I like to shoot left every so often to make sure I get one of the assholes out, because when the gun appears, you can't move around. You have to stay ducked down firing at the gun. You can shoot the gun while facing the wrong direction with the homing shot if you want to be more safe. I mean, that may actually work decently, but because the homing shots will go and hit the gun. They just won't kill the gun as quickly. Here I just wait because I don't want the spread shot. I am going to switch weapons partially through the stage, I think, but I ended up fucking up the boss on this one, too. I don't think I had the right weapon. I think I got kind of sloppy, but it was good enough. But it's not going to be a great demonstration. I recommend killing these rocks because a lot of times you see I get a 1-up from killing those rocks. They're worth a lot of points, it seems. So, kill them and try to get some points. I'll save you the time right now and let you know that you can't farm enemies by facing one direction and shooting the constant stream of enemies. They do spawn infinitely in certain areas, but you can't. You won't get points anymore. I tried it on fast forward just to see if I could farm lives just for the fuck of it, and it didn't work. So, I wouldn't bother trying to shoot infinitely spawning enemies. For here, if you have your homing shot, inch the screen up, jump up a little bit at a time and just use your homing shots to take everything out. Be aware that when you jump, you're probably going to jump a lot higher than you expect. You see here, watch when I jump. See, I go all the way up to that platform. You wouldn't expect it to go that high, but it does for some reason. So just be careful that when you're inching the screen up that you don't jump too far up and just, watch out for what's going on. Otherwise, they can hit you with something. But the homing shot takes care of most of this level. See, that guy almost got me, so you got to be careful with ducking to shoot the gun. You want to try to clear out the left area first if you can. But you'll get used to it after you play this enough times. Most of it's pretty simple. I think here again I wait for the spread shot to go away because I don't use it. Here at least, the spread shot is good during the final level, I like it. But Also, if you get multiple of the same pickup, they seem to get powered up. So if you get 2 spread shots, it makes the spread shot more powerful. Or at least faster. It fires more rapidly. So it's something to keep in mind if you favor a specific weapon. Here I just shoot straight up and I just dodge those things. And I just kill the enemies as needed. Shoot left to right to kill those enemies. And you can kill that thing fast. Or, disable it. Because you will fight it again at the end of the level. Here I shoot all the rocks. I try to because you get good points for them, so it's worth killing them. Here you can again just take it slow, especially if you have the homing shot, and just inch your way up the screen again. And just take your time, don't rush it. Make sure you get everything. Sometimes you'll have a few enemies on screen at once, but like you see, it's easy though. It's not difficult to deal with. Now here I purposely got the fire shot. My intention was to use it for the boss because in practice this is the weapon I used on the boss. I didn't really practice any other weapons on the boss too much. I did use the regular shot after I would commit suicide in practice to lose the weapon. That's a tricky jump. You got to be right at the edge, but not too close to the edge or you'll just fall in. That jump is a bit of a pain in the ass. Takes a little getting used to. I've died on that several times. But yeah, this part I like to focus just on the upper enemy. You can kill that bottom thing, but it's faster if you just kill the upper thing. Now, one thing I wasn't doing, I did lose the fire, as you see, so I wasn't really practiced in this, so I fucked up a lot. But yeah, first you got to kill the 2 arms on that upper thing. It's got 2 arms. Destroy those, and then it's going to shoot out bubbles. I like to just fire straight up at it, but with the machine gun, it's not always reliable. And and you can walk into. I think the edge will hurt you of that platform. It's kind of a weird thing, but basically firing straight up. I mean, that's really all you got to do. I mean, if you have the fire shot, it'll be a lot easier because when it explodes on it, it does a lot of damage and it kills the bubbles easier, and it kills those side things on that thing a lot faster. But that waterfall does tend to fuck me up, so I wasn't able to demonstrate that. Now this level can be tricky if you try to move fast. I like the fire shot again for this level. And, try to get the nest to open up by inching the screen. And then step back if you need to and take out all the spiders with the exploding fire shot. If you place it right, you can get the splash damage from the fire shot to take out all 3 spiders at once. But sometimes it's tricky because you don't know which ones are going to open. Unless you have it totally memorized. I didn't really have it memorized. I mainly practiced the boss. I practiced the stage a little bit, but mainly practiced the boss. So yeah, I keep the fire shot. But yeah, just take it slow. Kill shit that's getting a little bit too close. Like if something's behind you and it's causing a problem, then take the time to take it out before you move the screen. Because when you move the screen, you're just going to spawn more enemies. These things can be a little bit annoying with the enemies moving around, but if you proceed slowly and you look at where they're coming out to, you can pretty much easily walk around them. You just want to take your time. Sometimes you will get boxed in though, as you'll see happens to me, and I lose a life. So yeah, see, shit like that can happen. Those things will come out of certain sides. See, they come out of those openings, which I didn't even know. I didn't really remember that or know that they came out of those specific openings. But yeah, something to keep in mind. I mean, I would have known that next time I played it, but, losing 1 life wasn't enough to stop me from beating the level, luckily. But yeah, just take it slow. Make sure you kill things that appear. Always get all the way to the end before you try to cross those things, so that way you're in a safe, because it won't go all the way to the end. So make sure you're at, at least at the ends. Then try to walk through that narrow space and just take it slow and get to the end. And, once you're in that gap, you can go through again. And that's it. If you try to run through this, though, it's very easy to get hit by those and all the other bullshit. This boss, I did some practice with states like the other bosses, and it can be a little tricky, but it has a very easy pattern. You want to shoot the spiders that come out and just keep your eye on that laser and dodge that laser. You'll get used to the way it bounces. And, of course, you want to shoot at that bulb in the middle. So, you get some diagonal shots in, and then just try to shoot it straight up for a little while. Yeah, and see, it a lot of times doesn't look like you're walking into the leg, but the hit detection is very weird sometimes in this game. So I did get killed there. I think mostly because I was getting twitchy and nervous. But yeah, you got to be careful getting too close to the body. And the spider will go faster and faster the closer it is to death. But the pattern remains the same. And that's it, yeah. It's not too hard. It's a little tricky, though. It's good to practice it with save and load states to get a little muscle memory down with it. I didn't practice it a shitload, but I got fairly comfortable with it. I got more comfortable with it, honestly, using the flame shot. You know, so using the pellets wasn't great. But I did practice a little bit with the pellet. Oh yeah, I forgot to edit out the little pause break. I took a little pause, briefly. I just wanted to, you know, kind of calm down a little bit because you get fucking intense in these games. So I was like, yeah, let me fucking calm myself down a little bit. But then I fucked up on this continue. I'll explain it better when I'm playing it better because this is, you know, this wasn't a good attempt. It can be tricky, but there are ways to get used to it. I would recommend practicing this level, definitely, with the save and load states, because it's going to be a tricky level. There's definitely some things that you have to know and make it a lot more manageable. But yeah, I'll probably just explain it when I think I get it after I use the continue. I think I ended up getting it. I think I only used one continue. I believe you get 3 continues, either 2 or 3. Not 100% sure. I wasn't really counting them. I may even make it to the boss on this continue. I don't remember. But I managed to fuck it up somehow. Ideally, you would want to get to this level. I guess not. Yeah, ideally, you want to get to this level with, like, you know, your 2 lives. It gives you a better chance. Plus, you may earn... I'm not sure if I don't know if I earned a 1-up in the stage. You will if you've already been playing and you didn't die, then you can earn 1-up. But when you're doing it from a continue, it's hard to... I don't know if you can earn a 1-up. But yeah, basic thing is keep moving forward. Don't stop moving. And if you do, be very careful because those guns will shoot you immediately. So you want to, like, walk right under the bullet. You don't want to jump like that either. That was a fuck-up. That should have got me killed. You want to, like, keep walking, and you'll go under the bullets. So you'll go under the bullets, and then you can. But if you stop moving at any point during this, you'll probably get shot to death. So there is a safer way to play that, which I'll be demonstrating when I get to the next section where those guns appear. But for that part, I like to just walk through it and shoot it as I'm walking through. You can try to do it the safer way, but it's also kind of dangerous because you have to dance around guys spawning out, so it's not that safe. But it is more safe as far as involving the guns. It's safer when dealing with the guns, but the enemies can still kill you easily. But I'll explain, you know, the change in the method when I get to that point. That got a little dangerous. Now I like to get the spread shot for this part, for the rest of the level. Yeah, see, now I start playing this more carefully. This is the other way you can play that part. You can get them just in range where you hear that little beeping sound where the bullets are landing. You can only hit it when it's open. You get it just in range to fire at you, and you stay just out of range of the bullets and just jump around and fire off shots. Just be aware you're going to have to kill enemies as well. You're not going to be completely safe most of the time, so you can do it that way. It's a lot safer. You may even want to do that in the beginning if... well, actually, I don't even know if I don't think you even have the spread shot in the beginning unless you brought it over. So I don't know if that works as well. It may be harder to do it in the beginning. Maybe that's why I did the other technique. Now here, remember that these lasers only pop out twice. So after you see or hear 2 lasers come out, there's not going to be any more coming out. That's a huge thing to keep in mind because that'll make you be able to manage everything. You want to stay on the right edges as well because the guys will jump on top of you while you're ducking. So, you know, get to the other, you know, you want to get to the other edge. basically. You want to stay closest to the edge where the lasers are. And like I said, keep in mind that they only come out twice. And then they don't come out anymore on a given block. Each block will fire too. That asshole got in my way, so that fucked me up. But you can get this down to where you don't die once you get in a good pattern. There's a lot of dangerous little shit coming out. But like I said, just be aware that only 2 come out on each block. So then you can start shooting the enemies and getting in better positioning. But you do have to duck when they come out or you'll be dead. So just let them, pass. Now for this part, it's going to be the same thing with the guns. Except I don't think there's going to be any enemies this time, so it's actually easier. Now, if you do try to walk forward and shoot diagonally up, you'll get yourself in a very bad situation here because there's 2 guns that are right next to each other. So I really don't recommend trying to run under them like we did in the beginning on this part. That's why I don't do that, and I just do it this way. For this part, remember, as long as you stay down on the ground and duck, the bubbles won't hit you. So just get in the shots that you can, then immediately duck. See, as long as you're ducked, they can't hit you. I think the one that comes out right where the gun is positioned may be able to hit you if you're in that area, because that one seems to go lower, but I'm not sure. But I've never gotten hit when I was ducked, so just fire off some shots diagonally and just duck immediately, and just keep doing it until you kill those. Very easy. This guy you'll want to practice definitely with saves as well, and get in the rhythm. But he's not hard once you have his pattern down. Get all the way to the opposite end always, and fire your gun. Jump when one of the missiles gets close, and continue doing this. Always be all the way on the edge if you can. And now he switches his pattern. And see, I fuck it up here. You have to make that jump pretty precise. You have a very high and narrow jump, so you really have to, you have to be positioned right. That just takes a little practice. You're going to do the same pattern with the missiles on the far extreme side if you can. But you're going to have to do that while you're dealing with these. So you're going to have to keep these in mind while you're doing this. And it's just a matter of practice. You'll get it down. It can be dangerous with all this going on, but as long as you're paying attention and you have, sharp reflexes with it, you can jump over those. After this, you pretty much beat the game, but you don't want to get reckless. You just have to go through these lasers. For these, you just wait. You get as close, you get pretty close to them, wait for it to pass, and then immediately move right. And, take your time. Don't try to rush it. For this, you wait for the first one to pass, and then immediately move right. See, as soon as the first one passes, you can start moving right. And then all you do is just shoot this until it dies. It doesn't attack at all. So you pretty much beat the game at this point. But yeah, not too hard. A little challenging. You definitely have to memorize and learn some parts, but none of the parts are too difficult. But yeah, let me know if there's any other advice that you want on the game or requests for other games. I try to get up these tutorials with some of the games that are more challenging. A lot of them, that I beat would be really easy games as well. So I don't always put up tutorials for that. And yeah, I'll just let this play out. Thanks for watching.